Yo, people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Enlightened Talks Football, and welcome to your Premier League predictions for game week number 17. Before I get things started, I do like to apologize for not doing a watch along or any content for the Cardiff City vs Chelsea game. I was feeling unwell, a bit poorly, so I decided to let you guys know that I won't be doing any watch alongs. But I did watch the game, Cardiff City vs Chelsea, and it did end 3-1. And you're in the first half, Cardiff was the better team defensively. Giddens did nothing. George did nothing. Mark Gould did nothing. Like it was just an absolute stinker. Especially from attack. So, but yeah, we didn't go 1-0 down. That game ended 0-0. And if you and listen, our subs, saved us from embarrassment. Because if we didn't have the substitutes like that, we would have never ever won that game comfortably the way that we did in the second half. So yeah, so 3-1 Chelsea. We're into the semi-finals of the Champions League, in the Carabao Cup for the third time in a row on the Enzo Huesca. So he's doing a fantastic job. And then tomorrow, speaking of Enzo Huesca, on Friday, which is of course tomorrow, I'll be loading a video. I'll talk about the situation with him. What he said after the Everton game. I'll give guys my thoughts and feelings about it during the preview, and then we'll see where we go from there. So, but yeah, in the semi-final, we'll be at home in the first leg. In the semi-final, I should say, we'll either be facing Arsenal and Crystal Palace because them two play on the 23rd of December, which is 2 days before Christmas Day. So we'll see, man. So yeah, so that's the draw, and yeah, so Chelsea are through, Man City are through. Watch their game; they beat Brentford by 2-0, and then Newcastle just scraped to win against Fulham, especially in the last minute. Lewis Manny scored late. Otherwise, for that game, we could have gone into a penalty shootout. So there we go. So yeah, Newcastle through. So will Arsenal or Crystal Palace join them? We shall wait and see. So that's a bit of a content in terms of the Carabao Cup, and now let's focus on the Premier League games that will be happening this weekend because there's a few days to go until Christmas. So games are coming in thick and fast. So yeah, so we've got some really good fixtures to look, but the big game will be Tottenham versus Liverpool. Again, I don't know why that game is not on a Sunday because that's a big game. The big six teams go at each other. Tottenham versus Liverpool. Don't know why there's also one game on Sunday, which is an absolute disgrace, but we'll get to that in just a minute. But yeah, that will be the game of the weekend. Tottenham versus Liverpool. So I'm so looking forward to that one. So before I start the predictions, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Roll to 1K as always. Make sure you hit the share button as well, and don't forget to hype this video if you do enjoy it as well, so that I can get enough points for many people to watch the stream, the video as well. So make sure you guys do all of those things: like, share, hype, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. All right, without further ado, let me do the predictions for game week number 17. All right, so the first game, of course, is a lunchtime kickoff, a game for Chelsea, and we go away to Newcastle at St James Park at 12:30. Now, I'm gonna not talk about this too much because I'm gonna do a preview, but it's another Saturday at lunchtime for Chelsea, and you know, even though Chelsea are unbeaten, the last 8 games at lunchtime kickoff, I feel like that game is going to be done because our record at St James Park ain't that great. I think the last time we beat them was in 2021, and that was on the Steve Bruce. We haven't beaten Eddie Howe's, St James Park for a very long time. So I'm gonna be nervous, but the reason why I'm gonna be a bit confident is because Newcastle and St James Park hasn't beaten a Big Six team. The only team that did that was Man City, and that was basically it. They didn't beat. They lost to Liverpool, they lost to Arsenal, and they drew to Tottenham. So I feel like this will be our advantage as well because we played, Chelsea played away to Cardiff on a Tuesday, and then Newcastle played, against Fulham on a Wednesday. So this might be, a good advantage for Chelsea, but Our today is not that great. It's not that great. But, but I know this. I know it's gonna be something crazy, but I feel like I'm gonna back Chelsea to win this game. I don't know, man. I don't know why I have such confidence. It's just that Chelsea, do well, try to play kickoff, especially away from home, and James, Kukuel, all of these guys rested. So I just hope we get the job done. So if Chelsea do not win this game, then I'm gonna have to hold that. But hope so. I'm gonna back my team to win. I really am. So I'm gonna go 2-1 Chelsea, even though I feel like I wanted to go for a draw. I'm thinking to myself, nah, let me just back my team because there's a big game. Chelsea always turn up in these big games. When it comes to lunchtime kickoff, we do well as well. So hope and we don't have Nicholas Jackson, like he did last season when he got that red card. So fingers crossed there'll be no red cards in this game, and hopefully we can get the job done. And we have to win this game if we want to close the gap on Villa, and also the other teams as well. So I'm gonna back my boys to do. I don't know how, but I'm just am. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Newcastle Chelsea win. The only Newcastle goal scorer is going to be Voltamada for Chelsea. I'm going to go for Cole Palmer and hopefully, Reece James to score. I'm just hoping. So, yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. If Chelsea do not win this game, then yes, I've got myself to blame. But, yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. I'm going to back my team. I'm going to back my team. So, yeah, 2-1 to Chelsea. All right, the next game is Bournemouth versus Burnley, of course. I watched that game against Man United, and boy, that was a crazy game. Like, Bournemouth could have won it at the end. They could have won it at the end to make it 5-4. Like, that was a crazy game. Like, we saw Man City just about beat Fulham 5-4. We could have seen the same thing again on Monday night. So, we have seen two crazy Premier League games so far this season, and both in and and the ones included are both Manchester clubs. You know what I mean? But there you go. As for Burnley, they've lost 1-0 at home to Crystal Palace. So yeah. So listen, Bournemouth. The last couple of games, no wins in seven in the Premier League. For Bournemouth, but for me, they will bounce back. They will bounce back because Burnley this season, especially away from home, they can be good, but I just feel like Bournemouth are a much better team. And Semenyo scored against Man United and he didn't look good. So I expect him to turn up. So for this game, I'm going to go for a Bournemouth. Do I? Yeah, they'll probably keep a clean sheet. Yeah, Bournemouth will probably keep a clean sheet. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-0 Bournemouth win. I don't Burnley are a good team, but Bournemouth, especially at the Vitality Stadium, is a very difficult place to go to. It really has. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Bournemouth win of 2-0. Goal scorers Semenyo and Tavernier, so yeah, 2-0 Bournemouth. They'll finally get that win. And they have to, otherwise, boy, they're under some serious pressure, but they will bounce back. So yeah, 2-0 to Bournemouth. Right, the next game is Brighton versus Sunderland. Of course, Sunderland won that Trinway derby thanks to that on goal of Vertamada. For Brighton, they lost 2-0 away to Liverpool. So there we go. Now, this is where things go all wrong for Sunderland because the AFCON is in is going to be in 2 days' time because obviously I'm recording this video on the 18th, but this video will be uploaded on the 19th. So in 2 days' time, that's when the AFCON starts, the 21st of December. And if I take a look here at the you know, you know, if I take a look at which team is going to be if in the teams in the Premier League that are going to be in the AFCON. Sorry, let me just have a look. Oh, President? No. Sorry, Premier League. So yeah, let me just take a look at the list. So these, yeah, look at this. Yeah, look at this. If I take a look at the AFCON bound players, most of them, a few teams, like Liverpool, Palace, and Brighton, only have one. Wolves, West Ham, Spurs, Man City, Forest, Everton, and Brentford have got two players that will be going to AFCON. Man United, Fulham, and Burnley have got three. But if you look at Sunderland, they've got six. I repeat, six players that will be going to the AFCON. And that's double more than any other team. Only six from Sunderland. And that's going to be a huge problem. Huge problem. If I read out the players that'll be going to AFCON for Sunderland, they are Bertrand Traore, Arthur Mascunu, Noah Sadiki, um, Chance Chemsdin Talabi, Wanadinio Mandava, and Hibab Dawiya. Those are the most players for Sunderland, and these players will be going to AFCON, and that's absolutely crazy. So this is a huge problem. And I heard as well that Isidore is also injured as well. Like these next few days from now until when the AFCON ends, it's gonna be a huge problem for Sunderland. So boy, I don't know when the next com game is, but if I was a Sunderland fan, I should be very worried, very worried. This especially their next home game because wherever they, in fact, what is Sunderland's next home game? Let me just have a quick look. Their next home game will be um where are they? Will be at home to Leeds United. It ain't gonna be that easy. It really ain't. So yeah, I feel sorry for Solomon, But listen, in terms of this game, I feel like Brighton's going to win because away from home, Sunderland ain't that good. It really ain't. But if Sunderland, yeah, manage to beat Brighton, you know, on tomorrow. If they manage to do that, you've got to give you've got to give the Sunderland manager, you've got to give the Sunderland manager the manager of the season in the Premier League. Because if he can win with those six players who are mentioned for Sunderland going to AFCON, you've got to give him that. Because Sunderland will struggle. They will struggle, especially with those six players. But if they beat Brighton, yeah, fair play to the manager. Fair play, because it's going to be impossible for them to beat Brighton, especially away from home. It will be impossible, but we'll see what happens. So, in terms of this game, I feel like Brighton are going to get this win. They really are going to get this win because at home, they are a really good team. Although the last three games, Brighton have been up and down recently, but yeah, I feel like they are going to bounce back. So, I'm going to go for 2-1 Brighton win. I'm going to go for 2-1. The goal scores, I'm going to go for James Milner and Matoma for Sunderland. I don't know who, but maybe Granit Xhaka might score for Sunderland, and that's basically it. So, yeah, I'm going to go for 2 on Brighton. They're definitely going to win. But like I said, if Sunderland manage to, draw a win this game, then the manager deserves lots of credit for that. He really does. So, yeah, 2-1 to Brighton. It's going to be my prediction for that game tomorrow. And then another 3 p.m. kickoff is Manchester City versus West Ham. Of course, West Ham, lost 3 to Aston Villa at home. In that game, they were two. They took the lead 2 times, but they pegged back. But they lost that game 3-2. For Man City though, I didn't think they deserved to win because Palace had so many opportunities, when one but when you don't take your chances and you're not that clinical, you're gonna get punished, and that's what City did. Phil Foden is on a really good run of form, and Haaland obviously, but Phil Foden is on a really good run of form. He really has been. So Phil Foden, he wants to be in that World Cup next year. He really wants. And he wants to fight his players because he knows that Palmer will be there and Jude Bellingham will be there. So Phil Foden really wants to fight that place for the World Cup, and he's doing really well for Man City over these last 3 games. So fair play to him. In terms of this game, West Ham, I don't like. Do I see them being relegated? No, but if they are, then that would be a massive shock because a few years ago they won the Conference League, and next season they win the Europa League. But if they get relegated this season, that would be a massive shock. It really is. In terms of this game, yeah, West Ham right now, especially the record at the Etihad Stadium, not good, not good. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Man City to win or 3-1 because Man City will concede because Jalbo will definitely score. But yeah, Man City right now, they had a few injuries here and there, but West Ham yeah, at the moment not that great. So yeah, Man City to win 3-1. Goals for Man City. I'm gonna go for a Harden brace and Phil. Actually, no, let me go for Phil Foden to score a brace and then Erling Haaland to score a single goal, and that's basically it. So yeah, 3-1 Man City. They'll certainly get the job done. For so yeah for that game tour. So yeah, 3-1 to Man City. Right, the next game is Wolves versus Brentford. Of course, Wolves are still the only team in the top four division still looking for their win. They're still looking for their win, and they still haven't got to ready. Now, I think Wolves here will be so lucky to lose that game because I watched the game against Arsenal and they defended really well. They always had the game plan that really worked. If it weren't for those two on goals, yeah, I feel like Wolves could have made a massive shock here in the Premier League. They would have done because defensively they were good. Like Arsenal did have chances, more chances than Wolves, but the Waggy Chan chance they could have scored. So yeah, Wolves have been unlucky. And listen, even though Wolves have been losing games, they haven't been like getting battered like it's only the Man United game, but if you look at the Sunderland game, they only lost 1-0. Villa away, they've only lost 1-0. Arsenal away, they've only lost 2-1. So Wolves in these last games have been really good, but the problem is they just keep losing games, and they've still got 2 points. And those draws were against Tottenham and I've forgotten who else drew against Wolves this season. I really don't know. It might be Burnley. Actually, no. I don't know who else drew against Wolves this season in the Premier League, but I don't know. But in terms of Wolves, like I feel like they will win. They will win a game this season. I don't know when it will happen, but I think they'll win the game. I think might win the game, but I don't know who. But wait and see. But yeah, Wolves simply cannot win games. They simply can't. They simply can't at all. So, yeah, in terms of this game, I feel like Brentford have been haven't been looking good the last couple of Premier League games, especially that draw against Leeds. But for me, I feel like Brentford will cause Wolves all sorts of problems. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Brentford win because I don't think Brentford will keep a clean sheet, but they'll definitely bounce back. And Wolves, even though I feel like they might potentially win this game, I just do not trust them whatsoever. Whatsoever. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Brentford win. Goal scorers, I'm gonna go for Jordan Henderson and I don't know who else. For Wolves, I'm gonna go for Wang Hee Chan. So yeah, 2-1 to Brentford. If Wolves do win this game, I'll be shocked. Because that means they'll get their first Premier League win. But I won't be that shocked because Brentford are like a big, are like a big club if you know what I mean. But Brentford right now, yeah, few ups and downs, but they'll certainly bounce back. So yeah, 2-1 to Brentford is my prediction for that game tomorrow. So yeah, we got that one done. Now we move on into the game of the weekend. Tottenham versus Liverpool, of course. Liverpool got that 2-0 win at home against Brighton. But for Tottenham, after that win against Brentford at home, they lost 3-0 away to Forest last Sunday. So Tottenham, aren't good as well. Like they're in 11th place right now. And some fans want Thomas Frank out already. Like, I understand why that happens, but for me, this is Thomas Frank's first season, and if you don't back him, then what else can he do? Yes, the performances like 11 out of 16 games, they have an XG which is less than one. But come on, man, Dominic Solanke's still injured. James Madison's still not available. Kulusevski as well. Like they do have injuries, for Tottenham but and they do need to sign some players. But Thomas Frank is a good manager. I feel like for me, yeah, if Thomas Frank didn't leave Brentford for Tottenham, then that wouldn't make sense because he knows that Tottenham is a huge, huge job than Brentford. Because let's say that Brentford finished 40 or 50 this season, then I don't think the Brentford fans wouldn't mind that. But if Tottenham, let's say finishes below 12 like they did last season, then the pressure will be on and all of the Tottenham fans will be Frank out. Some of them are, and I'm not going to tell you who because I don't want to get into trouble. Some of them are, but there's a lot that says, I'm just going to give him time. You know what I mean? But listen, him going to Tottenham is a huge job. It really is. So there we go. But in terms of this game, like, Yeah, Tottenham, even though, they beat Brentford and they've also beaten Burnley, in terms of the Big Six team at home, they have been poor. They drew 2-2 against Man United. They've, who else? They've lost 1-0 to Chelsea in those games. So, listen, I feel like Liverpool will get back-to-back wins, which I can't remember the last time that happened. So, yeah, the last time that these two faced each other, in Christmas, ended 6-3. Of course, this is totally different Liverpool, but Tottenham right now, especially at home under Thomas Frank, ain't that great. And yes, they beat Brentford, but Brentford have been absolutely poor in that game. They really have been. I feel like Brentford only had 3 shots in the title of that game, you know? Like, Brentford and Liverpool are two completely different teams. They really are. So, for this game, I feel like Liverpool will get back-to-back wins and put more misery on Thomas Frank. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 3-1 Liverpool win. Goal scorers for Liverpool, I'm going to go for Szoboszlai and Hugo Ekitike to score a brace. For Tottenham, I'm only going to go for Richarlison, and that's basically it. So, yeah, 3-1 to Tottenham. Sorry, yeah, 3-1 to Liverpool, sorry, is my prediction for that game on Saturday. So, looking forward to it. I wish I'd be able to do a live watch along, but I will be very tired and a bit busy because of the things I've got to do for Christmas Day. So, but I will be watching that game. We'll see how that game goes. So, yeah, 3-1 to Tottenham. Sorry, to Liverpool. Always keep on forgetting. It's going to be my prediction for that game on Saturday. Then we move on into Super Sunday. Now, ignore that the Everton, Arsenal, and Leeds vs Palace game is on a Sunday because these games, yeah, is actually on a Saturday at 8 o'clock, and for me it makes no sense. And I don't know why on earth they put those games on at 8 o'clock. Like, for example, they could have put those games, Everton game against Arsenal on at 8 o'clock, and then move Leeds United versus Palace on a Sunday. Because Arsenal, actually no, that doesn't make sense because Arsenal. Well, I don't know, man. I really don't know why. Like, for me, yeah. Oh yeah, that wouldn't make any sense. Like, I don't know, man. Like, these scheduling games is just an absolute disgrace. Like, it really has been. Maybe they could have put the Leeds versus Palace game on a Friday and then put the Everton Arsenal game on an 8 o'clock. Friday night, Saturday night. Like, it makes much sense. But those games on the same time, yeah, the Premier League's just an absolute disgrace. But I'm just ignore that these two games, as you've seen, is on a Sunday. So, yeah, let's just move on into Everton versus Arsenal. And that game will be at the Hill Dixon Stadium. And this will be Arsenal's first ever trip to that stadium, the new stadium. So, there we go. In terms of Arsenal, they were very lucky to win that game, but they managed to do that. For Everton, though, they lost 2-1, sorry, 2-0 away to my club, Chelsea. And yeah, they've got a few injuries, especially the likes of um, KDH. They've got a few Everton players that will be going to AFCON as well. So there we go. But listen, last season, Arsenal have failed to beat Everton both home and away. So, so and that was under David Moyes. So, can he repeat the same thing as last season? We shall wait and see. But Arsenal, they've got to win this game because they know, yeah, that Man City play their game first and then also play on at 8 o'clock. And if Man City do win that game against West Ham, they will be above Arsenal. So Arsenal have got to win this game if they want to win this league. So I feel like Arsenal will get the job done because Everton, they are, before the Tottenham game, they were unbeaten at home, but yeah, they've lost, to Tottenham and to Newcastle, which are, you know, you know, big, massive clubs. So yeah, I feel like if Tottenham can do it, so could also. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-0 Arsenal win. They will get that clean sheet back, just like didn't do a few days ago. So sorry, a few games ago. So yeah, I'm gonna go for 2-0 Arsenal. Goal scorers, I'm gonna go for let's go for Bukayo Saka to score, and maybe Trossard to score as well. So yeah, 2-0 to Arsenal. They'll get back that clean sheet, and they'll definitely win that game and get the job done. So yeah, 2-0 to Arsenal. The next game, of course, is Leeds United versus Palace. Now, the interesting thing, and I saw this stat for the Brentford Leeds game, is that ever since Leeds went to that 3-5-2, they've not conceded at half time. They really haven't. So I feel like Daniel Fark is doing a fantastic job switching the formation from a 4-2-3-1, I think, to a 3-5-2. So there we go. For Crystal Palace, though, they did lose at home to Manchester City, so their form hasn't been that great. But I feel like I feel like this game is going to be a draw because it's at Ellen Road. It's a very difficult place to go to, and yeah, listen, I'm hoping for that game to be a draw because if I'm looking at the table right now, Palace are 2 points behind Chelsea. So let's say they win that game, they'll be 4 points behind Aston Villa. So I hope Leeds United have got something, and I think they will do because at Ellen Road is a very difficult place to go to. It really is. So for this game, I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw, a Desmond 2-2. I feel like Paris will take the lead and then Leeds will score, and then Paris will take the lead again, and then Leeds will equalize, and that's basically what's going to happen. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Like, if Leeds United do win this game, I will not be surprised, but if Paris do win, yeah, that's huge for them. It really is. So I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw, a Desmond 2-2 draw. Goals goes for Leeds United. I'm gonna go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin because he's been scoring the last 4 games for Leeds United. Um, who else? I don't know who else for Leeds United. For Paris score, I'm gonna go for Sarr and Jonathan Mateta to score. See, I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw in that game. Ain't gonna be easy, but you know, but I feel like it's going to be a draw at least a draw. So there we go. So yeah, and then we move on into Aston Villa versus Man United. Of course, Aston Villa have won 9 of their last 10 games in all competitions. For Man United, they are beaten in the last 5. It's absolutely crazy. So both teams are in a really good run of form. But I feel like even though I would love Man United to beat Villa in this game, it's not going to happen because Man United have got three players that will be traveling to AFCON, and those players are Brian Mbeumo, Amad Diallo, and Nusa Mazwawi. So those are the three players that will be traveling to AFCON. So hey, oh, I thought there was more than that. I don't know, but anyway, anyway, we will see. Okay, Bremer for Cameroon, Ahmad for Ivory Coast, and Mazumami for okay, that probably makes sense. So yeah, so listen, even though Man United are unbeaten in the last 5 games, I feel like that record is over because Villa are in a very good run of form. And especially at Villa Park is a very difficult place to go to. Very difficult. So, we've got to pray for United. So if they can get that win, I'll be very happy. But it ain't happening, people. It really ain't. So for this game on Sunday, which is the only game, which is a very disgraceful thing. I'm gonna go for um let's go for a Villa win of I'm gonna go for Villa 2-1 win. I'm gonna go for 2-1 Villa. I was thinking of a 3-1, but I was like, nah. Because Villa will respect Man United, but not too much. But yeah, I'm gonna go for 2-1 Villa. They're in a very good run of form. Very good run of form. So yeah, 2-1 to Villa. Goal scorers, Morgan Rogers and let's say Buendia. For Man United, I'm gonna go for Bruno Fernandes to score. So yeah, 2-1 to Villa. 2-1 to Villa. They'll continue this one of form, and yeah, they'll close the gap again on both Man City and Arsenal. I don't think Villa win the title race, but Unai Emery and Villa are doing a fantastic job. So yeah, 2-1 to Villa. They'll get the job done. And then the final game on Monday Night Football is Fulham versus Forest. Of course, Fulham lost 2-1 to Palace. For Forest, they've beaten um, um, who was it? Tottenham by 3 goals to nil on the last game. Now, this game is a very difficult game to predict because it's just that Fulham at home is very difficult, but Sean Dyche is doing a fantastic job. I mean, let me see where Forest are in the league. Let me just have a quick look. Let me just see where is Forest in the league. Oh, they're in 16th, so they are 5 points above the relegation. So yeah, if Forest win that game, they'll be in 13th place and they'll be climbing up the table a bit more. So yeah, it's difficult to predict, but I feel like Forest may get this win just about. Although I do see this being a draw, but I feel like Forest will get this win. It ain't gonna be that easy because Craven Cottage, we have seen 5-4, we have seen 2-1. It's been a very close game, so yes, but I feel like Forest will get this win just about. They might. I feel like they will do so. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Forest win. Just about. They'll. It's very difficult to predict, but I think Forest on the Sean Dice has been very good this season. Yeah, 2-1. I'm gonna stick to right that. I'm gonna stick to right that. So yeah, 2-1. Goal score is kind of Hudson-Odoi and maybe he will score a brace. For Fulham, I'm going to go for Howie Wilson. So, yeah, 2-1 to Forest is going to be my prediction for that game on a Monday night. So, there we go on that one. So, yeah, people, that's all of the Premier League games. Let me go for them one more time. So, Saturday's games, I've gone for 2-1 Chelsea win against Newcastle. Hopefully, they don't let me down. 2-0 Bournemouth win against Burnley. 2-1 Brighton win against Sunderland. 3-1 Man City win against West Ham. Um, yeah. 2-1 Brentford win against Wolves, a 3-1 Liverpool win against Tottenham, and then 2-0 Arsenal win against Everton, a 2-2 draw between Palace and Leeds United, or Leeds United Palace, should I say. And then on Sunday, the only game, I've gone for a 2-1 Villa win against Man United. And then on the Monday Night Football, I've gone for a 2-1 Forest win against Fulham. So that is my. Oops, sorry. Let me just clean this camera a little bit. Um, hold on, guys. Sorry about that, people. But yeah, like I was saying, that is all my Premier predictions for game week number 17. So do let me know in the comments if you got your Premier predictions below as well. So that is it. So since it's the end of my Premier predictions, it's also the end of this video. So I'd just like to say a massive thank you to each and every of you that watched this video. And if you have enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are new to this channel on the road to 1K as always. Make sure you share this video to all your friends and your family so that they can also join in as well in the conversation, give their predictions in the comments below. And make sure you hype this video so that I can earn enough points for more people to come and to join me as well. So there we go. So don't forget, people. Tomorrow there will be a preview for the Newcastle Chelsea game. Saturday reaction and a live watch on as well, and we take it from there. So the one after Christmas is coming in thick and fast. These games are coming in thick and fast. I heard that there'll be, from last weekend up until New Year's Eve, there's going to be 40 games. 40, which is absolutely crazy. So yeah, man, Christmas is nearly coming, and we're nearly at the end of this year. So yeah, so guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care. Goodbye. God bless, and love you guys as always. Peace.